Hey, welcome back to another episode on our new series, Pro Tips to Live a Dynamic Lifestyle. If you're new to this show, you definitely want to stay for this because we're dropping them every single day and we're giving you guys tips from literally experts and legit pro tips on how to live a dynamic lifestyle, especially in this pandemic and new circumstances and landscape that we're facing. So if you're interested, make sure to subscribe below. Other than that, get ready for this next one and we'll see you later. All right, Emily, Hayden in the house. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
We're doing well. I was just admiring the wall behind you and you're just kind of laughing at it, but I think it looks awesome.
Hey, thanks. This is the Hayden family wall. Welcome, everybody.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, thanks again for coming on this, pro series of how to live a dynamic lifestyle, during these challenging and just, conflicting times with the pandemic going on. So I appreciate your time. And I just want to just kick this off by asking, how are you doing personally, even with your family? And what have you been doing, on this downtime with the quarantine? And then how do you recommend somebody can just reinvent themselves during these times?
That's such a great question. And thank you for asking. Me and my family, we're doing well. We're healthy.
Good.
And we definitely have enjoyed having more time together because I live in California. They live in Texas. And I'm actually quarantined with them right now here in Texas. And we actually have a huge family, but we're all quarantined from each other. So at the house, it's just my parents and then my brother and I. And for me personally, I've been really, really blessed with the opportunity to have all of my work be online. So I have actually been working the same, if not more, since before the quarantine. And I really am just so thankful for that because I know that that's not everyone's reality. So for me, what I've done is I've looked at my own reality and figured out, okay, how can I utilize this time to my best advantage? And I think number one, I have a responsibility not just to myself, but to other people to do the best that I can, given the fact that I have the opportunity. Some people don't have the opportunity to show up for your job or to show up for work or to make money. So I feel like if I can, then I have to take hold of that and I have to really do the best that I can because I'm going to be able to help other people in the end. So for me, it's been a lot of just working and I'm grinding. And I feel like if anything, I've just seen this as a really weird opportunity to be in my zone and with no distractions, with no events to attend, with no traveling. So I've kind of reframed it to say, I don't know why, but right now I'm giving this opportunity to be in my zone and to grind away as much as I can, and that's my reality. But what I suggest for other people and their reality is to assess their situation. If their job has been taken away from them and now they can't travel and all of these things, what can you add to your life? What can you focus on? What were you not able to do before because of your job requirements, because of having to travel and things like that? So I think what you can do is figure out, and I recently talked about this on another podcast, but figure out how to make it your own personal boot camp. I really view this is my personal boot camp, and what that means for me individually is going to look very different from other people. But maybe for somebody else, they're not able to focus on work or employment, and they have to deal with the reality of that, which is very hard. But I think then they could open their eyes and say, okay, well, what can I focus on? Maybe I've always wanted to dive into personal development, but I haven't really found the time to listen to podcasts or to read a book or to journal. I haven't spent time journaling, and maybe this is the time that they're able to set up the framework within their given day to be able to do that. So I know it's a really hard thing that we're all dealing with, but I really do think that, give yourself time to feel whatever you're feeling. There's a mix of emotions. And even with myself, I have a lot of good days and I have a lot of days where I really feel the reality of what's going on.
Yep.
And I hurt for other people. So it's not to say that, we can just grind and grow and develop. Sometimes you have to feel and you have to be in it and you have to just allow yourself to be human. But I think no matter what your circumstance is, there is a positive that can come out of it. I think we just have to have the right mindset, the right freedom to be a human. And, we got to assess our own personal situations.
Yeah, I love that, especially the personal boot camp, and especially how you said that it's not this one size fits all, because at the end of the day, there's no guide or, handbook on how to get through this pandemic. We've never faced it. So I really like that. And I just want to circle back to what you said, kind of like the ups and downs, because let's face it, we have our days where it's we're like, damn, this sucks. It really gets the best of us. So what do you do to kind of overcome that?
That's a really good question. I actually had a moment like that last night and it kept me up and it interrupted my sleep completely. And, I try to do my best to like stay positive and stay focused. But what I found is most helpful for me is, number one, I have to limit the amount of time that I allow myself to scroll on social media, to watch the news, to watch updates, to watch videos that people send me. You know what I mean? We're all getting these videos and things, and I do post some information, but I really have to monitor my intake of what I'm intaking and also what I'm outputting. So even if I watch a video that is really interesting and I want to share, I might share a little bit, but I'm not going to sit on social media all day, sharing it left and right and sitting in my DMs, responding to people about this situation, just because it is so heavy and it is so hard and it really does impact me. So I've just had to learn how to set those boundaries for myself. And then also, this morning I woke up and my parents are here, thankfully. And I start talking to them and just sharing like how I'm feeling. And I'm like, man, like enough is enough. Like we need to return back to life and the economy has to go on. And, I'm just like pouring out to them. And my dad just like grabs me. And we all just like did a little prayer together as a family, and just like reestablished the fact that like our trust and our security comes from God. And I'm really glad to have that faith piece in my life, because man, it took me from, that place where I was at to just like this peaceful, centered core of like, okay, but I trust God. So it's okay, because I know that no matter how hard the situation is, I know that God's there and that he's with us and that he has good things for us to come. Things are not going to get worse and worse and worse. Things are going to get better.
Yeah.
So like you said in the beginning, we just have to take it one day at a time. And I think anytime I find myself going crazy, it's just thinking about the future, which could change tomorrow.
I appreciate you sharing that, being honest.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And it's also too, just, the question I like to ask, and what we're asking on these pro series is, let's say hypothetically, your business got completely wiped out by this pandemic, right? And you're starting literally from scratch. What kind of things would you do, like knowing now, like all the skills that you have and the experience, what would you do to kind of get yourself back up there?
As far as like what kind of business I would create, or
just steps that you would take in the right direction, where it's like, okay, I'm pretty much like at ground zero, I hit rock bottom, like I'm going to build this back up.
I think I would first focus on, okay, number one, I'd figure out like what's going on in the world and what do people need? What is a potential problem that I could solve? I think if you can solve a problem, no matter what's going on in the world, you can that, because if you can provide a solution to many people's problems, or just your target audience problems, then I think that is something that will be very valuable, like I said, regardless of what's going on. So I would just kind of hammer down and focus on like, okay, what are my personal strengths? What is something that my friends all say about me, because I think sometimes it's hard to figure out, okay, what are my strengths? But it's like, what do your friends know you for? What do they all say? Oh, go to her for this, or go to him for this. And figure out what makes you different, what makes you unique, and try to figure out how to pair that together with something that's real going on in the world, and then provide that solution to people. And as far as like how, I think obviously the way to go is social media, video content, audio content. The more you put yourself out there, the better. I think video is content king. People are able to see you. They're able to really see you and hear you. Whereas just photos of like, hey, here's a problem and a solution. People are like, okay, whatever. Yep. But like, if you can really like relate to people and show them your story, and I think that's the way to go for sure. So I think I would just focus on that.
Are you a fitness professional looking to create more income, impact, influence, and independence? If so, we actually just dropped our new book, Rise of the Fit Pros. So you guys can be on your way to doing all those things, and you can sit there and build your hyper training model. So if you're interested in getting your copy, make sure to click the book or the link right here, and you guys can grab it. Other than that, make sure to enjoy the rest of the show.
Yeah, definitely. Nice. I like that. And then I like even too what you said about just figuring out what your strengths are, going back to that, because that's something that we always do too, because we have blind spots. We all know that. So what we do is like, we have like our mentors, our colleagues, our team, like do an entire kind of like poll and just be brutally honest, be like, Chris and Eric, here's your strengths, here's your weaknesses. And it really helps us. And same thing I say to, our Fit Pro students, like do a poll and survey to your community and improve your services.
Oh, that's such a great idea. So I did that once for my family. And it's this what is it? Anonymous. It's this, I couldn't think of the word. It's this anonymous website, right? And they get to go on there and like write all their feedback about you. But what's really funny is like, I know my brothers too well, so I knew which one was which. And I just pretended that I didn't know. But I think that's a great idea, just to have people that you trust and love. And I think it's important that it's people that you trust and love, like I said, because for me, I don't think that I would personally do that just on my general social media, because I think that's like asking for, I always say, like, don't let your spirit be like disappointed or broken by somebody that doesn't know you at all. I think it should be somebody that has a really good head on their shoulders. You guys align with values and morals, and they're able to give you feedback in that way, because constructive feedback is great, but random feedback from somebody that doesn't know you or your heart, I don't think is very helpful.
Absolutely.
Sometimes can just be hurtful.
Yeah, exactly. So kind of just wrapping this up, Emily. So I've been asking everybody on this, these interviews, this is kind of like, I know it's kind of like a broad question, but for me, I'm like, what's the learning lesson behind, this pandemic, this quarantine? So like, I'm asking you, what do you think like the big lesson behind this is, even just for you?
Number one thing that comes to my mind immediately is that we are not in control, and that we cannot plan out every detail of our lives. And that truthfully, as much as we try to control everything and make the perfect 5-year plan for our business and the perfect, plan for the rest of the year, we have to learn how to have goals and to make a plan, but to not have such a tight grip on it, because like in a second things can change. And it's not to scare you, it's just to almost relieve you of the pressure of feeling like you have to plan out your life, or feeling like you have to have this perfect 5-year plan, So I think it's just to realize that we truthfully just do not have control. So what we have to do is make that plan, but kind of surrender the rest to whatever happens, and truly learn to live in the moment. Like, are we not all being taught right now how to live day by day? Some of us are literally like, that's how I'm getting through, because if not, I'll go crazy. So I think it's teaching us, I think there's a lot of incredible lessons to be learned here, and there's just a lot of opportunity for growth here. So I'm constantly, looking at everything and seeing, how can I grow from this? What am I learning? And it's every day something new. So I'll let you guys know tomorrow.
For sure. No, appreciate exactly. That.
I love that too. Just to surrender and just slow down a little bit and just go back to really what's important, right? Maybe a minimalist lifestyle.
Gosh.
Maybe we don't need X, Y, Z anymore, but family comes first, the most important thing. So I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Really
not even just to get married to your business.
Exactly.
Yeah. So true. And what you said, like it really has shown me, it's given me a different perspective on the things that truly mean the most to me and that truly make me the happiest. Like, I'm really blessed that my dad has a home gym. And now I just realize that, like, I always forever need to have a gym. You know what I mean? So like, I know, like, I can't move anywhere where I can't have a gym or all the things, and obviously I joke about that, but it's not a joke. But I mean, like, the family and stuff as well,
Yeah. So true. Well, Emily, is there anything that we can support you on right now with, and where can people connect with you?
Releasing my 90 Days of Excellence program. And I'm going to be doing, I believe it's going to be a week-long launch where I offer it at a fraction of the price, specifically for people in quarantine that need guidance. And it's essentially just like a lifestyle coaching type of program where I teach people how to live from a place of excellence, and I teach them how to finish what they started. So the goal is to get through all 90 days, not being perfect, but showing up every single day for yourselves. That will be releasing soon, so they can just stay up to date on my socials at Emily Hayden on Instagram, Emily Hayden Fitness on YouTube, shop Emily Hayden as my website.
Perfect. All right. So guys, we'll have that all linked up in the show notes. Once again, Emily, thank you so much for your time, your experience, your wisdom, and just your honest truth right now, like how you're dealing with this pandemic and the tips you gave. We really appreciate it.
Yeah. And I'm just glad to hear that you guys are well, your family, you're doing well, and you're just being productive and trying to just help other people get through this as well.
Thank you. And thank you guys so much for putting this together. It is so valuable and so needed. I think what we can do is show up for others in this moment, and you guys are doing a beautiful job of that. And honestly, you made my day so much better just now. So thank you.
Awesome.
Very welcome.
Appreciate that. All right, guys, until next time.
Hey, thank you so much for watching this video and another episode on pro tips on living a dynamic lifestyle. We truly appreciate it. Hopefully you got a lot of value out of it. If you're interested in getting more value like this from these pro tips, make sure to subscribe above. We're going to be dropping these daily. Also, if you are a fitness professional and you're looking to create more income, impact, influence, and independence, we just dropped our new book, Rise of the Fit Pros, so you guys can do all of that. And you can also start building your hybrid training model in-person and online training. So make sure to click the link or the book right here to grab your guys' copy, and we'll send it over to you. Other than that, we're out. Talk to you soon.